It's time to get clear, get heard, and get paid. And join us on our Soul Business Retreat. Attract your dream clients and income over 3 nights as we shape your passion into a business that makes a profit. Follow our 13 steps to reach 5K in 30 days in the beautiful Byron Bay. Whether you're starting, growing, or expanding your business, our all-inclusive 3-night retreat is the place for you. Check out the details in the show notes, and we hope to see you soon.
Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul. Hey everyone, it's Catherine from Willow Healing, and today I have the beautiful Anna Pang with us. So Anna is a menopause skin and vitality specialist with over 20 years of experience blending traditional Chinese medicine with modern skincare science. She helps midlife women achieve radiant skin, balanced hormones, and vibrant energy naturally. At 47, Anna has maintained her health, weight, and glowing skin for over 2 decades without extreme diets or sacrifice. Even more remarkably, she has shiny, voluminous hair with not a single grey strand, proving that hormonal balance is the key to vitality throughout menopause. Through her coaching program, she has helped hundreds of women reclaim their confidence and beauty from the inside out. So a big welcome to the show, Anna.
Thank you for having me. It was so great time with you.
And I can testify that her hair is beautiful and voluminous. So anyone just listening to this, I'm just backing up her claims.
Thank you.
So what pulled you into Chinese medicine, Anna? And then how did it evolve into, really developing your skincare science and programs with women?
Hmm. I started it when I was little with my father. He is the TCM practitioner. And I remember when I was little, when I eat everything, when I do everything, he always said to me, do not drink that because what? And do not dress that because what? So I have been influenced strongly by my father. So later on, when I became an idol, I got this strong influence. So I actually educate myself within TCM, and I did understand it's all about balance and harmony in our body. So as a woman, I know one thing is that when we got the period, it's a very big problem during this time of phase. So during this time, because a lot of my friends always experiencing difficulties during this time. So I started very early, since in my 20s. I focus on harmony and nourishing my hormones very early stage. So what I focus on is the internal body should be balanced, and that is the key message of the Yin Yang philosophy. Yin Yang philosophy is deeply rooted in TCM. So from then, I have to say is that once as a woman, if you balancing your hormones, you're actually very in during all the different life stages. For example, conception, the pregnancy, postpartum, and now I'm entering menopause, perimenopause phase. So I actually do not experiencing lots of symptoms as we expected to. And the skincare was so totally it's a personal journey, and you normally start with something that's because you experience yourself. And now I'm 47, 2 years ago, 45. I remember that just what waking up one morning, and I felt like my eyelid was very itchy. So I did not really pay attention to it. I thought just maybe dressing. But then later on, I did not realize that actually the itching developed even worse to become swollen and more burning. And then I thought, oh my God, that now it's disturbed my life. So I was like, of course, like everyone does. So try everything, ask friends, ask colleagues, and everybody told me that you try that, you try that. I went to pharmacy, the pharmacist told me to try this. All magic creams didn't work. So eventually, after 2 weeks, I remember I could not buy it anymore. So I went to the doctor, and she prescribed one eye gel. And that was magic because within days, my eczema was disappeared. I was so happy. I thought, oh, finally, I don't need to experience that thing. And especially, you have a really red, big. I covered a lot of layers, but still you can see a big red on my eyelid. And then when you meet people, people do not look at you. They look at your eyelid, and you just feel like you want to cover it, but you could not do it. And that was really the first time I had a huge self-conscious about something that I take a concern into. So to the end, I used that gel, and the gel came disappeared with my eczema, and I was happy. But so as soon as I stopped it, the eczema came back. And I did realize that it's not only the skin issue, it's something is within internal my body. And that is where luckily I do recognize the pattern where the TCM came in, because TCM is all about nourishing and balance. So, and I did some research and said, why just the pattern suddenly? And then I realized, because 45, the normal stage actually for perimenopause as woman entering between 45 and 55. And then I was thinking that may be because the hormonal shift made my skin. And normally the first sign actually it is from the skin, your hair. A lot of women experiencing losing hair and thinning hair. The hair is not really shiny anymore. And skin is very dry, sagging. So, and from that moment, I did a complete renewal approach. So I stopped to rely on all external fixes. So I just doubled down everything what I knew with my TCM approach. So I doubled on more bone growth and increased more key nutrients and also deep hydration from internal body. And plus now I actually replaced all the synthetic products. I only use 100% natural ingredients on my skincare. So all my skincare now is DIY. And now it's not only vanished, this eczema never came back again. And the best result is I found out with TCM. Once you found the root cause, and you really dove into the root cause, the result is it becomes phenomenal. It becomes better. So what I've experienced in my skin now feels like just as good as in my 20s. In my 30s, my skin is not this good, to be honest. So now it's my 12 years girl, Victoria, she's starting to become more concerned about her skin and everything. And she's always touching me, Mom, your skin is better than mine. So it's like, I feel like, oh my God, that's a really compliment to me. So for this reason, I started to help other women to get their skin to glow back from internal. And then I found out that it's actually the result really came to great, because all women I have worked with within 7 days, everyone told me exactly the same feedback. Their skin texture becomes smoother and the dark spots faded, and also the energy level. They feel like they are more energized. So in that case, it's whole my story is relied on this eczema. So I thank for this eczema incident. Without this, I would never realize I actually entering into the menopause phase.
And I love that, it was through your own journey of, questioning what are natural ways that I can, work with this eczema and shift that and shift how my skin looks and shift how I'm feeling that, led you down to that path. And it's so nice that you could see those results, well, quite easily, like physically, because a lot of people don't realize eczema does come from a root cause and it's an inflammatory response. And a lot of people don't actually think about it that way. They just think, oh, I'm just reacting to something. It's like, actually, no, there's a reason you're reacting to that, and there's a reason you're sensitive to that. So it's really beautiful that you've then evolved and now you can help other women going through the same thing.
Exactly. Totally right.
Yeah. And it's funny too when you were bringing up the hormone balance, because I was one of those women that people don't understand. And I had like a perfect pregnancy, right? So I wasn't sick. I didn't have any, like, I had so much energy. I was exercising every day. And people were like, what did you do? And I said, I actually went to my naturopath every week and he would adjust what I needed and to keep my hormones in balance. And there was only one day in my whole pregnancy I remember I felt weird. And I think it was just like a big change was happening for my bub at the time, you know. But it's funny because, you know, it's so people, you know, they think it's normal to have morning sickness and everything like that when it can be just, you know, an imbalance of hormones. And the same now, I'm not at the perimenopausal stage, but, you know, that's become a big thing that people are talking about now, going to perimenopause and then menopause, where, you know, a lot of people don't realize you actually don't have to have those symptoms. There are things that you can do naturally that can help rebalance it. And I think that's something that mainstream hasn't been talking about. They're just like, oh yeah, I have hot flushes, I must be menopausal. It's like, actually, no, why don't you look what the imbalance is happening?
Exactly. That's totally right. So the thing is, like you described, exactly the same to align with the TPM. It's all about balance.
Yeah.
And as women, really very important we nourish our hormones as early as possible. Then you actually automatically avoid so many difficulties that you just actually do not need to experience if you have focused on early stage. And then of course is for menopause is what I remember when I was young, my mom always said is menopause in Chinese philosophy is just one side is that once you don't have anything with your period, that means you have gone through the menopause. That's the only thing I know. So that's why it's without this idea, I did not realize is the menopause actually involves so many different symptoms, and the key is actually how balanced your hormones are. The more balanced your hormones are, the less symptoms you experience, and that's I said is I am a living proof because I do not experience any symptoms in the menopause phase, as everybody talks about, except my skin, this eczema. But I vanished because I solved it and I solved it from the root cause. Yeah. And that's actually the message I want all your audience. I realize I don't know their age, but really, regardless what age you are, start early to nourish your hormones and balance them as early as possible. You will actually have a really easy life.
And it's so true because I used to suffer from really bad acne like all through high school and as a teenager, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was triggering it. It was only once I started to rebalance my minerals and my vitamins and rebalance all my hormones that, you know, my skin really, really cleared up. And it's only occasionally now I might get a little bit of a flare up, and it's always around that menstrual cycle. So I know I was like, okay, the hormones are peaking. So it's really interesting personally going through that shift. And it's funny because I don't even wear makeup anymore. Like I used to wear makeup all the time to cover it up. And it's like, now it's like, oh, I'm going somewhere really fancy. Maybe I'll put some makeup on. You know, like.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear that. Really, it's an amazing story you have experienced, and you yourself experience the differences once you start rebalancing your hormones. What the result will come.
Yeah, exactly. And it's amazing how many people will say to you, oh, there was so many remedies when I was at high school. Oh, it's because you eat yogurt. It's because you eat dairy. It's because you've had chocolate. It's like, no, actually, I don't feel it's any of that. And it was, for me, I was very magnesium deficient. So when I pulled up that magnesium, then I had a complete shift in many aspects of my body and my hormones and everything like that. But, you know, like, and then pregnancy, it was just, like I said, it was like, for me, it was an easy journey. Sorry to anyone listening that didn't have an easy journey. But, you know, it's just everybody's body's unique, and I guess that's why it's really important to go find the people to support you on your journey so that you don't feel like, you know, you're different or I'm trying all these things and why did it work for this person or that person, because we're all human. We have a unique hormone balance, we have a unique biome, you know, the cause is going to be different as well.
Exactly, totally right. And the key is, as you said, because we all individual have different needs. But the one thing is we share the same is we all share all the hormones inside our body, and that is actually is the foundation. So if you always pay attention about the balance of your hormones, and you will definitely have a very easy life in different phase. So I think it's now it's like most women, when I work with women, actually they are lack of education, lack of knowledge, and they did not even realize that actually skin issues or hair losses in the midlife is actually nothing to do with symptoms. It's actually your internal hormones imbalance. And once we have revised this and they see the result, they understand, aha, actually they have been spending so much money on the topical product, and they understand now why it doesn't work because it's nothing. It's not magic with the cream anymore because cream cannot penetrate your skin into inside your body. Only you have to work from start with skin, and then you can see the result.
Yeah. And I guess that's too where a lot of people like they think if I just keep putting this cream on, it will help, it will help, it will help. And, there's so many different topical things. But then when you actually start to look into those products as well
Yeah.
and see what's put in there, half of the time they're made from petrol. And I think a lot of people, if they actually knew that, and you told them they were putting petrol on their face, they'd be mortified. But, when you start to pull those apart, and petrol's going to do the opposite to your skin. It's not going to nourish it. It's not going to give you what you need. And like you said, it then still comes back to what's happening inside that's causing that reflection on the skin, because your skin's kind of like the last point of exhale, right? Like it's trying to get
Yeah.
rid of the toxins, or it's trying to get rid of all those things. And when I just have this image of like your skin breathing out, and it's like,
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is totally true. Yeah, because the skin is the largest organ in our body. Everything what happens in TCM say everything happens inside your body, reflecting from your hair, your skin, and your nail. So all ladies who are listening today, pay attention about your hair, your skin, your nails. Are they actually in the shape as they normally they are? Like when you think about your best time, because we all have different phase of life. Some women maybe have the best time of their skin and hair maybe in their 20s, some maybe in their teens, some maybe in 30s. But just compare where if you had the best time, you are so happy with your skin and hair, but suddenly change overnight, and you did not really realize the reason is probably is hormonal imbalance. And this that not necessarily you must enter in perimenopause because women we are actually inside our body we are dominated by so many hormones in our face. We are not like male because male they don't have the pregnancy, they don't have conception, they don't have that kind of problem if they like a different life stage. But for us, we have always constantly worked with our hormones. Our hormones working with us all the time as soon as you start a new phase of your life. When you want to get pregnant, why some women have difficulty to get pregnant? And of course, there are so many other reasons, but one key reason is the hormonal imbalance. And so that's the, how to say, it's very easy to understand is that when you find something wrong with your skin, listen to your body. And that's where CCM always say, listen to your body. Do not listen to others because others, they don't know how you feel, but you know how you feel. And every time your body is feeling not good, the body actually sending signals, and then most of the times, actually, the signs is from your skin, from your hair, from your nails. And these three key points is always is the good to start to evaluate how your conditions are. So if you do not feel well and you see your hair suddenly lost a lot, or some people in the early age they have gray hair because that's the cortisol. Cortisol hormone is the big culprit in every single body regardless you're male or female. And so that's the reason why I'm so shocked that sometimes I see a 20 years old girl already have gray hair. It's, this is not about the perimenopause. This is about the stress because cortisol is a stress hormone and you cannot deal with that correctly, and your hair appear with this showing that the result. So it's very important as women they focusing on hormone balance.
It's so funny you brought up the cortisol being linked to grey hair because I was going through this very stressful time in my career / life, and I had a single grey hair appear, just one. And I was like, and I didn't actually stress about it. I thought, oh, if a couple more come, I'll just rock the look. You
wait a little bit.
I was like, I'll just be all right. But then it's funny because it's almost gone now. And I feel because, I chose to rebalance my life and pull back on the cortisol levels. And then it's like I can't even find it. And I thought, I know it was definitely there, but it's just not there anymore. And it was really interesting because, because chronic stress, people don't realize how big of an impact it has on you. Like even my husband, he had like big, like really thick hair, but before I met him. And then he said, I'm pretty sure I lost it all because of my first marriage because their relationship was really imbalanced, and all the stress that came from that. So it's so interesting how we don't realize how much that does affect us, and it leads to more weight gain as well because you go into protective mode. So, you've got the cortisol, which is really high. You can't shift weight because you're in this like protective stress, and instinctually we want to go into, how can I fight flight, right? So then, you're not going to shed weight. Yeah. And then I guess that's where the body goes, well, why am I going to put all the energy into producing the color that they needed for the hair when I currently need to put all that energy into surviving? So yeah. So I really I like that link because I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense.
And that's also you see you have once you start to rebalance and your body listen and you support your body with the right approach and your body gives you good results because the single strand of your gray hair is probably disappear because you don't necessarily have gray hair so early stage. But I'm so shocked nowadays. I pay attention, observing like a 20 years old girl the other day I met. She's only 20. She had a gray hair in her back head. And I just asked her, have you, any of your parents like they have early gray hair in genetic? Because most of people have early hair. Most of them are actually genetic. But she said, no, it's just I'm so stressed. She said herself, I'm so stressed. And I said, but maybe it's better you try to lower down your stress because you're only 20. You should not have gray hair in this early stage. So that's the thing. It's very important. So there's a society people pay not much attention about cortisol. Cortisol is a really big problem in our society at the moment. A lot of people stressed out and they have changed completely their body condition and the appearance just because the cortisol is increasing and they actually do not know why. And if back to this midlife phase, 85% of women actually have double their cortisol level than they're supposed to be. And that's the reason why many women after 40 say, I feel like I'm not myself, like I don't know who I am, just overnight. And that's the key reason because the cortisol, you do not nourish your balance in your hormones. You let the cortisol increasing and the estrogen and the progesterone declining, and then only one single hormone increasing dramatically. And that is the result of why you feel not like you anymore. So that's the key point. Take care of your cortisol and try to balance your estrogen and the progesterone. These two hormones actually can be balanced, and there is a ratio. It's not only single. You cannot only say I have a good estrogen. It's not the correct. You have to see the ratio between estrogen and the progesterone. If these two are balanced in good ratio, regardless in what stage, but in particular very important in the midlife is that means you have a good balance of your hormones, and the cortisol normally cannot really overtake these two key hormones as a woman.
Yep.
So if you see any dramatic change in your life, just recent month or this 1 year, for women who listening, do I always say encourage my client to do blood panel test.
Yep.
It's eight hormone test that to see your thyroid and to see your estrogen ratio between this estrogen and the progesterone, cortisol, and also vitamin D, and all these together because it's complicated. It's a complete panel that the blood test gives you a picture how harmony you are.
Yeah.
And once you know it, and you can actually target what you should do, like cortisol. The most efficient way is stress management to reduce cortisol level, and then plus nutrition. So for that point, it's important to check before you just guess. A lot of what women only guess, they think they are lower in that. But why not just take a blood test to see what actually happened in your body, and then you can do much better for your body rebalance.
And it's funny that vitamin B comes up again in menopause, because that is actually when you're pregnant. That's what dips low when you actually experience morning sickness and things like that. So it's funny that
you have a low,
So it's interesting that comes up again as one of those things you need to check in with the estrogen and the progesterone, and then your cortisol on top of that. And I love too, Anna, that you brought up that when those are imbalanced, it's almost like their harmony is what's keeping the cortisol a little bit in check as well. So when there's that imbalance and their stress levels pick up immensely too, that's where that massive, oh, who am I? What's going on over
there. That's the most fascinating people what I talk to. They always say, I just do not know what happened. In recent months, my skin started to change and my hair lost. And they just completely no clue about it. And that's the common thing what I heard. So now I know what is the reason. It's because it's for myself. It's the eczema gave me a big impact. So it's just go back to your hormones.
Yeah.
Because I have been nourishing my hormones since the 20s. So for me, it's a natural knowledge for me. But a lot of women don't really realize skin relate to your hormones and the hair relate to your hormones. And that's the very important message for all people who are listening today. Get something done if you feel you are off recently. Do not just ignore it. A lot of people always wait until getting really worse and then they start to check. And most people do not be proactive to protect their health beforehand. And this is also one of my missions. I try to always tell people that try to proactive protect your health rather than you wait until you got chronic diseases and then you do all the solutions. It is maybe worse, but more complicated, more suffering, and why we do not do it beforehand. And so checking your hormones is much easier way to understand your health.
Yeah, and it's so important to, like, often we forget, like, when we're in a healthy state to actually keep working on our health, because sometimes that's the easiest time to work on your health because you've got a good baseline. Whereas when you're in the crises or the extreme happening, all you're doing is trying to work to get to some level that you can come back to normal. Whereas that might not be sustainable because you haven't got the long-term procedures in place or the long-term balance in place. So, like exactly what you said, be proactive in being on top of your health when you are healthy, so then it never gets to the point where it gets to a detrimental state that your body goes into tragedy essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm so glad that you have the same mindset as I do. Is because I have since I start to actively work with women to help them with their skin, and I did realize how important your mindset in regards to health. Yeah. And a lot of people talking about now the success with wealth, And for my own journey, I never really chased about wealth. I always prioritize my health before anything else. And that's the result of why I have a easy life. I never really get suffered with anything. It's not, I'm sorry for who you're listening to think I'm bragging. I'm not trying to brag myself for health. I just want to tell you it's because I know how beneficial I can be. And that's the reason why I try to deliver this message. Be proactive with your own health,
Yeah.
not thinking I'm fine. If you just have a single tiny signal from your body, try to stop that immediately. Do not wait until getting worse. And that's most people's approach. Wait. Till the end, I found a big problem. Then they go to the doctor. It's not good for your health.
Yeah.
In long term.
I know especially mums are the most guilty of that, right? Like I know so many stories of mums who wait and wait and wait and wait, and then when they get to the doctor it's extreme by the time they get there, so it's really important that we choose to look after ourselves and to, like you said, prioritize our health, because I always say to my clients, especially because they're mums normally, and I say to them, if you go down, what happens to the ship? If you're not there, you forget how much of an integral cog you are in your world. And if you stop working, who's going to pick up all the slack, and who's going to look after you when you can't get out of bed, or when you can't, look after yourself, or like you said, when your hair's all falling out and, your skin's acting up and everything else. So, put the work in now while you can, and actually prioritize your health so you feel better in yourself as well.
Exactly. So true.
Yeah. So I feel like we've already covered this a little bit, but I'll bring it up anyway. I ask all my guests if they could heal or change something in the world, what would it be?
Yeah, and that was I would say is I want every woman to embrace menopause as a time of renewal and empowerment.
Yeah.
And not decline. And that's the key message I really want to help as many as possible, because we have been told in the society, women after 40, you are declining, you are aging. And all those things, all sizing things, all those lack of energy is a part of aging. And from my own experience, I can definitely tell you, no, that is not true. And you can even utilize this opportunity to renew, to empower. Because when I think about now, I'm 47. I have a good, stable life, and my kids are growing up now. I don't need to change diapers. I don't need to feed them, chasing after them to look after them as I usually do. And then I feel like now I have more freedom. So the more freedom time, what you should do as a woman is actually to restructure the definition about aging. And when I say aging, is I found it's also nowadays we have so many people have this big trend with the Botox, the filler, all this kind of artificial, superficial stuff, which is I against, because I say I'm not perfect, but I am 100% natural. I even do not take any supplements. So what I would like to always understand is that your beauty, you are useful looking, is from the skin. So once your body inside, you feel good, you feel vibrant, you feel energized. You don't need to worry about your appearance because it shows automatically.
Yeah.
I never really focusing on my skincare. I do use good quality skincare since I was little, that's for sure. But now I removed all of them because I found out it's not really working with our skin anymore as a midlife. But what I found out that my energy always is from within. So that's the reason why I don't spend so much money. I never go to the treatment. I never try the Botox or fillers because I do not think looking younger is important for me. No. But feeling younger is very important.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So that's the key message. I want all people to understand that don't let the society define us, and we define our own destiny. And in particularly, if you're entering, we say, menopause phase, is to utilize this opportunity. And if you want to extending your health span, not only lifespan, this is the best golden chance as a woman because you don't have so much other hassles to think. You don't have, you don't need to search a good job. You already normally have a good job. You have a good family. You have a loving relationship. Everything's already set. The only thing is you see yourself not you anymore. You are aging, but that aging is not aging. It's just because your hormones are not balanced. So focus on the right glucose. You will feel like you're 20 years old.
Yeah, which is amazing. I love that. Yeah. So and I love how you said you're only as young as you feel, right? Because it's so true. Because, you know, some days I get up and my body might not be 100%. I'm like, whoa. You know,
Isn't that not good feeling when you work out? You feel like your body do not really go with you, and you just feel that stuff. So I actually just I really want all women wake up every morning feel like, oh, I am so refreshed and recharged. And that's my goal.
That's perfect. And if people want to connect with you, Anna, how can they find you?
Yeah, they can go to my website. It's menopauseskincare.live, and to see what you can find my service on there. And for social media, you can go to Facebook and LinkedIn and just write down my name, Anna, with one N, A-N-A, and then my surname is P-A-N-G, Anna Pang, 5 names.
Yeah. Beautiful. And I'll make sure I put all that in the show notes as well so people can just click on it and not think about it. So thank you so much for your time, Anna. And it's definitely a powerful message that you're sharing, especially for women who are going through menopause or starting the menopause journey. And, you know, if they can get onto their hormones and get that right balance in as soon as they can, then it's going to make a world of difference.
And thank you so much for having me. It was so pleasant to talk to you today.
Thank you, Anna. Thanks.
Thank you, Catherine.